Hello and welcome to Any Key to Continue, our weekly vodcast for the latest news, views from the gaming world. I am Ben, also known as Tettron, and my nutter of a co-host, Bob, also known as John Doe. Say hello, Bob.
Hey, howdy, hey all. You alright, dude? How many times has that been now since you tried to get through that intro? Dude.
It's got to be done. It's got to be done. Fits of giggles.
I've got so many good sound bites to use on you. I really have now.
And you added in the Murloc?
Have I added in the Murloc yet?
Was it in him? Was it a Murloc you just added in?
It's my sister. She makes these little. I don't know if you can see that very well. They're like little
awesome.
stitched little things. She's got usually for Christmas and birthdays. So
Yeah,
I've got them too. And then,
well, if she needs to make spares, then by all means, I've got lots of room up there. They are awesome.
These are cool. So there's like me, Daddy Murloc. And
Ready?
I just want to hold. They're amazing.
Ready? Dorator's just going to come and boosh him in. Like
See, that's so cool. And that's what you got in your loot crate, wasn't it?
The only thing is look at the size of that honker. Look. It's like Dorator's nose is nowhere near that big in the film.
I don't remember. I didn't pay much attention to his shonk, to be quite honest with you.
He's got a little kilt, but you can't really see anything.
Oh, he's got no junk. He's junkless.
Yeah, he's got like dreads and stuff.
Is he tall?
It's cool.
Is it just a plush, or does it say anything?
Nah, it's just a plush. So that was a nice addition from me.
Yeah. I think the best thing I've ever had in a loot crate is my Hearthstone, my squeezy Hearthstone.
Well, I haven't got my loot crate yet. I've got my that was from my arcade block. Arcade block, just always awesome. But yeah.
See,
we digress.
Sorry.
We've got lots to talk about today. We're a little bit late, by the way. We are recording Friday. We normally record on a Wednesday. Hay fever has destroyed the both of us, and we have not looked human. Not that we look human now.
Speak for yourself.
But yeah. We've still got some awesome news. So we'll go into news for the week.
To the Batmobile. Let's go.
Okay, so bit of a different way of doing the start of the news this week. I want Bobby to have a look into a bit of news that I stumbled across today.
You have surprised me, don't you? I've not seen this yet, so...
Yes. So what we'll do is Bob will have a reaction to... I say have a reaction, he might not. He might be completely dead inside.
I am dead inside, you're right. I have no feelings.
Hopefully we'll get a reaction from you guys and Bob watching this for the first time.
Okay, what is this? What have you sent me? Sorry.
Okay, well, if you know Bob, Cthulhu is his bread and butter at the minute. He's loving the Cthulhu scene. Now, yeah. So, I'll let you watch it. Are you listening to it?
I'm just playing it up now. Right, you ready? I've got the thing now. Call of Cthulhu E3 trailer. No.
Yep.
Provisional 18. Fear of the unknown.
There was nothing extraordinary about the Hawkins case. Just a common family tragedy. At least, that's what I thought. But nothing could have prepared me for what I discovered on Darkwater Island. Darkness. Despair. Secrets. Fear. Enough to make a man go mad. He is here. He awaits, dreaming, and soon he will awaken. When that happens, it will be the end of everything we ever knew. I have to stop it.
Oh my good God! Oh my good God!
So
That's so cool.
New Call of Cthulhu game coming out.
Yes. Now, see, I followed the website a couple of weeks ago, and then sort of left it. I've seen a couple of screen images. That image there I've got on the screen now, I saw that as a screenshot. And then I saw the trailer appear in a news feed this morning, but I didn't actually watch it, and I thought I'll do that later on and completely forgot all about it. I'm so glad I waited till now, though. That looks so good.
And like an excited child, I said to Bob, you can't watch it. Stay off Twitter.
Yes.
If you find out about this, I will not be impressed.
Yes. So one of my things is I'm a bit of a Twitter addict. All my news feeds come from Twitter. It's just my go-to source for everything that I follow. And when he said don't today, like at the minute my news feed's probably like massive to go through, which I thank you for. Ben. But anyway, yes, but that, it looks so good. So I wonder whether or not that's going to be third person or first person. I'm hoping it's third person.
So there's been a little bits of information that have been released on it. It's obviously set Call of Cthulhu era, and you take the role of a private investigator, and it's set in the 1920s in Boston. From the trailer, it doesn't give much away for any scares. You would expect it to be a bit psychological, being Cthulhu, and having a bit of jumpy aspects. Maybe with the cutscenes in the trailer, they might be suggesting to it, but they don't give a lot away, to be fair. Personally, well, it's not going to be released until they're looking at 2017, so we're looking at next year. It has a feel to me of, what was the old game? Was it the Tettron did? It was an MMORPG. It had all the different, like, Illuminati in. New World, Home World. I can't remember. It'll come to me later. But it also has a Silent Hill feel as well, for me. But does it hit the mark for you? Does that trailer get you?
Well, see, from what I know, this video game is actually based on the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game of that same storyline. Obviously, the whole mythos pulled from the 1920s, 30s era around the whole private investigator thing, anyway. And the screenshots I've seen, so it clearly, pulls from a lot of the current stuff that we're seeing out in the market at the moment with the board games, the Mansion of the Madness, the Arkham Horror stuff. And it's set here in Darkwater, which is quite a pivotal area within, I think, the RPG and not the actual main books and storylines themselves. But I could be wrong on that. But if it's got that, what's that game recently that came out? The horror one.
Outlast,
something like that. Yeah.
The one when you're in an asylum.
No. So you start. So you're walking through the woods with the missus, and then she gets kidnapped, or she falls.
Yes, I know the one you mean.
It's got the guy who plays Grant Ward in Agents of Shield.
Really?
He's the voice, and the actual character is him. I can't remember the name of it, but it's. I'm hoping it's going to be down that similar sort of vein. So obviously very heavy on the investigation. If it's got that Silent Hill kind of vibe to it, it's going to be a very jump scare game, and this will be a brilliant game to play on a VR headset if it's got that capability to it.
Or as immersive as you can.
Put your headset on, seeing this sort of in front of you. So I'm very excited about this. It doesn't look as polished as a lot of these bigger games out here at the moment, but they've got time to do this. I think they're a new studio.
Well, it's being co-developed by Cyanide, isn't it? The only worry is, or it seems to be the worry, is that they haven't done very well in the past with big IPs. So there is a slight little worry there with what they're actually going to do with it. But it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
Yeah.
I think, did they have a that was it. Dark Corners of the Earth was a previously stealthy horror shooter, which is another one from the Call of Cthulhu RPG style era. I don't know if you've ever seen that one.
No.
It was just a stealth heavy horror shooter, but it got forgotten about quite quickly. It was one of those ones that slipped away stealthily in the night.
Maybe that's what it was supposed to do.
It's those creeping tentacles that come and get you.
Exactly. It is. I mean, the whole. I don't know if any of you, you've seen these games. I mean, talking about them recently, but it's got this whole. I mean, reading some of the H.P. Lovecraft books now, it's got this. You can kind of see where all of the typical horror archetypes have come from over the years. The things under your bed. The madness in the darkness. It pretty much all stems from this. Anything you've watched horror related, I think one of the best things I've seen recently, movie wise, was Cabin in the Woods. And that, obviously, the premise of that, spoiler alert, is them trying to appease the gods as part of that storyline. And the gods, then they kind of allude to, they are the Cthulhu gods, the old ones. So that's kind of it's still stemmed in modern day. It's still, and I think the whole Cthulhu thing is getting bigger and bigger, not just in the video game world. I think it's becoming more prevalent. I mean, there's a massive Cthulhu for President 2016 campaign going, and I think if you look at the stats, apparently he ranks like third in the list of candidates. So it's quite funny because it's the the advertising campaign they put behind this through Twitter and that has just been brilliant. You buy t-shirts and cups and all sorts. I don't think it's just funny, but you know, it's in more so in people's minds now. So I think this has got more of a chance of getting to more people now, because more people are aware of what the idea behind it is. And obviously I think with the VR stuff, more horror related games, you know, they're starting to come out from out the woodwork. So yeah, I hope it.
Well, my introduction to Cthulhu was quite a few years ago. We're talking easily 10 years ago, and it wasn't based on any of the board games or card games or anything like that's out there. I was actually at a gaming convention with Hawklord. I don't know if you know Hawklord. No, I used to work with us at one point. So I was at a gaming convention with him, and one of the ladies that came along, she had this big ass costume with like tentacles. I didn't know what it was, squiddish like type of suit. I was like, all right, okay. So they'd cordoned off this pub section where the gaming convention was.
Yeah.
And they were LARPing. So for those of you that don't know what LARPing is, it's live action. It stands for live action role playing.
I would imagine a lot of people who watch this know what that is.
Yeah, probably. And what they were doing is they were really getting into the whole. They were very dressed up in their old, you know, the old get up and everything like that. And they just had, the next thing I know is that the lights were flashing on and off, not in our room, but in theirs that we could see through the window. And, you know, the Cthulhu creature came out and everything like that. And, you know, that was my first view of what the hell's going on in there, you know, what the nut is doing. And it was all about Cthulhu, you know, and this psychological thriller style game that they will play. So yeah, it seems to be kicking off quite a lot.
Yeah, definitely. There's so much, I'd say, Fantasy Flight Games, who have produced all the other games at the moment, they've done such a brilliant job with them. The majority of the Kickstarters that I find are based around that as well. So because obviously it's an intellectual property that anyone can use at the moment, because it's in the public domain. So yeah.
Well, the other game that I was thinking of is The Secret World. Had you ever seen into that?
I've heard of that one, but I've never played it.
Yeah,
I've never looked at any of that.
Myself and Kazor played it quite a bit, and also Wally, and we got well into it. That was quite good, into the whole horror style, and the whole conspiracies and factions and everything like that. That was pretty good. It was new for what it did. Developed by same people that did Arcade Online. No, not Arcade, Anarchy Online. Sorry. But yeah, that was pretty cool.
Cool.
So what news you got today?
So what's first on my list of things? So the one I did quite excited about, and for some bizarre reason I uninstalled this and can't remember why I uninstalled it. I think just for space. But Heroes of the Storm have a new upcoming hero, and I think
you uninstalled it.
I installed. Yeah, it was just to space really.
Shocking.
And I will put it back. I don't know what possessed me to do it, but now that I've seen this trailer, I kid you not, I will definitely be.
So I've not seen this yet.
You've not watched this one yet, okay? Well, I have paused the audio on this though, so I'll talk over it. But Medivh is the next playable character, and he's more of a support character. But some of his moves and abilities are just absolutely fantastic. In terms of slowing down people, area control stuff, he is just absolutely superb on. And obviously because of the movie, you know, he's one of the main characters in the film. I'm just waiting for the trailer to kick in so I can see some of the abilities, because I can't remember what they are off the top of my head. But some of the clear art, even a little bit of from the first game there, a bit of graphics, which always takes me back. It's a nice character model as well. Very nice character model.
Good point to tie him in as well, isn't it? Really,
yeah.
It's a shame they didn't do a giveaway for going to watch a film. To be fair,
yeah, I think there were some giveaway thingies from freebies, but obviously in America. So, yeah. But the first thing is obviously Raven form, which enables you to fly around anywhere on the map. You can't be touched. You're pretty much invulnerable, and you can go anywhere and everywhere. You can go across all the terrain, across all the forests, and pretty much obviously find out where anyone is. So I think first of all, in terms of scouting, yeah. That's absolutely perfect. Is Arcane Rift, I think, is a little bit weak, but you know, it's got a line of sight slowdown as well. And I think the more enemies you keep in that range, the cooldown is quicker as well. So its Force of Will is quite good. So obviously that protects any of their characters in their area. as well, gives him a bit of a shield and a buff. But his portal, I think, is just absolutely amazing, where you can skip from one point of the map to another bit, and this will be brilliant on what's the one with this one here with the shrines, where you've got to try and get them under your control. As well, but my favourite one is the polybomb, where you basically turn them into sheep.
I see that.
It's just so cool. But if you've got other characters in that, they basically, the polymorph jumps from character to character
After it pops.
Yeah, it pops. So if you've got everyone in that area, fighting, then you're pretty much going to slow that fight right down. Polymorph, and then people set up and picked off again. So I think just as a support character for this is going to be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Even Leyline Seal is his secondary ultimate weapon. That's going to slow down a lot of people, obviously, from getting away, or for any escape elements to it as well. So, very excited for Medivh. I think I might actually just buy him straight out of the gate as soon as he's released. He just looks very nice.
He does. Definitely, if you're playing with a proper group of people, maybe not in pugs, so that you've got that support there.
Yeah,
nice.
It'll be interesting to get some of the lads online with this one again and give this one a go.
Yeah, it will be. I can't believe you uninstalled it. That's shocking.
No, I promise you, I will put it back after this. I promise.
So on the Warcraft note, it obviously got released in the States today, 10th. Yes,
it did.
But it's been released in China for quite a few days, like we have, and it's smashed all records and box offices in China at the minute. Even Star Wars. To be fair, it's not that surprising. They are really heavy into their gaming world. In the environment with their esports and the immersion, of they're pretty much superstars in the esports genre. So, yeah, it's not surprising, but really good news to see that Warcraft has just destroyed box offices. So it'd be interesting to see what it does in the States now.
Definitely. You threw me there because you've gone off target on the notes, and now I don't know where you are. That was your last thing. Right, where are we next? Right, I'm going to let you do the other one. Right, I want to know what this is because I asked you in the car. I'm like, holy mom bombs! It's World of Final Fantasy. What?
Yeah. Holy mom bombs.
Is that how you have to say it? Is it?
Yeah. It's something. I think it's not Squall that says it. But in the trailer, you'll have to listen to the trailer. But halfway through it, you're watching it. It's like, if like me, this is not what he says, but if like me, you were introduced to the Final Fantasy genre at 7. It made RPGs a thing for me.
Right.
The immersion. For the time, the graphics were amazing. The cutscenes were phenomenal. And it was at that right point when a PlayStation was out to actually play Final Fantasy VII. And I then followed on to try and replicate that when 8 came out. 8 was personally a failure. It was too much Resident Evil-esque for me, with the gardens and fighting and everything like that. And then 9 came out. 9 was amazing. And then I didn't get a chance to play 10, but then I went on to, I think it was 11 was the first online one, and so on and so forth. So pretty much Final Fantasy VII, or the Final Fantasy series, gave me the interest in RPGs. So
RPGs in general, or the actual franchise?
Both, really. It coerced me into that world of fantasy, of role playing in, and going through all of that story and lore and everything like that, and broken the way for things like Warcraft, and the way that I treat every other game, interested in the story in the background and so on and so forth. So so Holy Mom Bombs, World of Final Fantasy, has been announced. I think it was just before all the leakages started for E3 or something along those lines. So it's set for October release. And I don't know whether you're playing the trailer.
Yep.
But it's a mixture of all the worlds.
Well, see, this is what I was going to ask you, because this is just confusing the shit out of me at the minute. It just looks like a whole mash of junk to me. I'm
Yes.
sorry for all those Final Fantasy. I've never played it. I played one of the games back on the PlayStation 1. I could never get on with it. The whole look and feel of it never gelled with me. It just was, and this just looks an absolute.
What was your introduction? What was your first one you played?
What was the first one on PlayStation 1? Was that 7?
You say PlayStation 1, that normally means that you had a PlayStation 1, not a PlayStation. So that's probably not 7's the first one you played. Did it have a dude with blonde, spiky hair with a big ass sword?
They
Or
all
did it have
that.
a guy with a gun sword?
I think it was just a spiky sword. I don't know. I can't remember. It was a demo, and I just remember going,
Oh, right.
"What the hell?" And it was just like,
Right,
"This is
okay.
just a part." It's probably because I just couldn't get used to the mechanics. It was probably too much for my mindset back then. I wanted something just to hack and slash and get on with it. So I think the whole RPG thing, and only until now, is kind of I've already caught up with that sort of thing. But this just looks like an absolute mess of tripe, dude.
So it's not a mess of tripe, it's a mess of everything. So the quickest analogy that you can do, think of Hearthstone.
Right.
No, Heroes of the Storm, sorry, on how they take different characters from all the different IPs and they've mashed it all into one. You know, they've found themselves in a situation where they're in the environment where they have to defend and attack and so on and so forth.
Right.
Yeah, that's what they've done. They've taken all of the different IPs, all of the different series versions, and mashed them all into one, and they've all lost their memory effectively, or the main characters have lost their memory, and shit's going on, and they need to figure out what shit's going on and sort it all out. But they're not necessarily true to the form in their original things. So you see Vivi, they look very similar, which were the black magey style magic hats. They're very similar to it. Cloud isn't. Cloud's very squash cartoony, so he's a different RPG style. Squall's nothing like what Squall used to be, which was from 8, and so on and so forth. So it looks an interesting mashup of all of the Final Fantasy worlds. It's sort of, I suppose you can see it as a teaser until the next one comes out. The next one is beautiful. The next Final Fantasy.
So this has got nothing to do with the next Final Fantasy, the big one coming out. Is this just an adventure game, or is this an MMO? Because it's obviously World of Final Fantasy kind of.
It's an adventure. It's a single play RPG adventure, as far as I understand it, and it's just literally a spin-off that's been developed in house, with just a mixture of all the different.
It's a moneymaker, basically. Because again, for me, and again, I think it's probably one of the reasons why I've never got excited about the Final Fantasy games is because they all look so different. They've never stuck with a set visual style.
Yeah.
You compare that to Heroes of the Storm and different IPs, but at least all the character models all look consistent. They all look like they kind of belong together. I mean, you've got these big dudes with these tiny little dudes in here that look like Funkos, and it just looks like a raging mess.
Well, Square Enix try to create it for their main audience, which is which is an Eastern audience. So they, in that environment, you have games like that pop up quite frequently, and I suppose it's lucky for us to get, and for the fans.
So for each iteration, they jump on the money on the money train for each. Right, what's popular at the moment? All right, we'll make sure our game looks like that at the moment. That's popular.
Yeah, pretty much. Like fashion.
Yeah.
They see it as a fashion.
It's
there,
a
don't
fashionable
they?
IP.
Yeah, certainly. Final Fantasy has built itself into there. Square Enix has built it into itself. And because of that as well, in addition to the Holy Mall Bombs of Final Fantasy, we are also luckily going to get we're going to get view of Final Fantasy Type O, or 0, however you want to call it, which is really exciting because we didn't think it was going to come over to the western side. It's already out in the east, or at least beta in, at least if I recall. But what's really interesting is it is an MMO, okay, but it's going to be available on mobile.
All right, okay.
And it looks sweet. So I've put another link in there for the YouTube as well. I don't know if you've got the Type O going, but for a mobile phone game, I was talking in the last episode on how mobile phone games are actually getting a lot better. This is quite a good example of how good it's going to be, to the point where it's not just going to be on mobile phone, it's also going to be available and playable on PC. So, it's just showing the power of what a mobile device can actually do now. and it just looks pretty sweet. It's being beta tested in China starting this month, and then we've obviously been told that we are going to get it on the Western side. Now that's probably not going to be maybe until next year, but at least it'll, we've been told it's actually coming.
Yeah. See, that sort of thing, I'm quite a fan of. Whenever I get into something, particularly whether that be a game or some any IP, I always sometimes, especially when you're traveling or you've got a spare 5 minutes in between stuff, if you need that fix, I always think that's what the mobile platform is perfect for. And this obviously for a Final Fantasy, because it's such a massive IP and so many people love this, minus myself. This is great. Obviously, yeah, you can pull up a game out of your pocket and then pretty much just keep playing it in between stuff. So
and with groups of people as well.
Yeah,
with the MMO factor to it, and if they get it right, if they get it cross-platform with PC and PC and mobile device, even better.
Yeah, exactly.
Really.
I mean, and Hearthstone's proven that. If you can get a game cross-platform, you're gonna and everyone get involved with it. It's just absolutely fantastic, like we were mentioning in the last episode.
Yeah. So, the Final Fantasy is moving in a positive way. Personally, for me, it'll be interesting to see what they're also remaking. Final Fantasy VII. That was announced a while back and started a while back. There was a lot of worries about that because it's not sort of like a HD hash like we've had quite a lot of times for different Final Fantasy games. They're actually remaking it with elements of the same story. It's going to be episodic and so on and so forth. So,
is that the one with the bathtub scene? Are they removing that?
Yeah, I don't think that one will be it.
Fingers crossed that they remove that bit.
You've seen that now,
haven't you?
Yeah. The abusive Cloud in the bathtub.
Yes, Kazor showed me that. It was like, what? I couldn't believe what I was watching.
If you've not seen it, and you're a Final Fantasy fan, I would definitely recommend watching it because it is.
No, I don't. I would steer well clear of it.
For a Final Fantasy fan, you need to see it because it is part of the Final Fantasy VII history, and for you not to be aware of it is sacrilege. To be fair, you all right?
Yep, I was just coughing. I went on mute. I was trying to be discreet about that, but you clearly...
You didn't go on mute.
Didn't I? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. What? Hey? No.
I said I muted myself. How can you hear me cough?
No, I
sorry,
could hear you.
Viewers, carry on.
I really could hear you.
Out.
No, don't cut that bit out. Okay. It's awesome. I might be doing the editing this time as well. Yeah. Sure, we digress. What other news have you got, Bob?
Yes, what's next on my list? So, another one, and this is kind of... it's not Cthulhu related, but it almost looks like it. So I did spot another game called Edge of Nowhere, and this is more of a VR developed game, from what I can tell anyway. But it almost has that same... I'm just trying to get back to OBS so I can switch to the right browser. There we go. It's been developed by Insomniac Games.
All right.
And basically, you're out in the middle of... And I think it's do you know what? In fact, I know what it's based around. And if any of you have one of the classic movies, been made twice now, was The Thing, John Carpenter's Thing, particularly.
Okay.
That's based around the Cthulhu mythos. That whole alien creature from that. And this is basically a similar sort of game. You go out to the Arctic to find your crew who've disappeared or not responding to their comms, and you end up discovering this massive underground cavern which almost looks kind of alien-esque with these really weird creatures running around. But I believe it's been developed for VR, so you can obviously look around and see these kind of characters and creatures looking around. So it's got that kind of horror, Lovecraftian theme to it anyway, but almost Tomb Raider-esque type feel to it as well. So it's, and then here you can see the tentacles, or they're like roots, but then you'll see these giant tentacles come out of the ground in a minute. And it's just got this kind of, the reason I wanted to mention it again is because it's got this whole Cthulhu type feel to it, and horror thing to it. So it just looks like a clever little. I need to double check what platform it's actually been on. I think it's PC, but to say it's got, the tentacles are here. But it's got that kind of like nice little horror feel to it. So it's the Edge of Nowhere from Insomniac Games. I'm quite looking forward to that one. Yeah. That was one of my quick mentions I want to pass across.
Reminds me of, there is a scene Ah, damn, I'm not going to remember the name of it. Max Payne. Ever played Max Payne?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
Yeah, the baby scene, or where you dream,
Yep.
and you're trying to chase a baby, and the whole world's changing, and it's very dream-esque, and things are happening all around you that are just really freaky, but all you've got to do is survive, type thing. That reminds me of that, and also the Scarecrow part in Arkham Asylum.
Yes.
Yeah, very cool.
So it's coming exclusively to the Oculus Store, so it's going to definitely be VR. And it was released on the 6th of June this year, so
Okay.
I'd be interested to see what that one looks like.
Interesting, because that's a that's a VR game, but the trailer was in third person, so I wonder how that runs.
Yeah, be interesting to see that one. Yeah, so I got quite excited about it as well. Obviously, similar sort of vein there as well. So what's next on your list? Or have you gone through all your bits now?
No. So before E3, I think brain freeze.
Watch Dogs.
Yes, Watch Dogs. So before E3, the information was leaked. I think, I don't know whether IGN picked it up or another news site picked it up. On all of the information on Watch Dogs 2. So yeah, really excited about it. The release date is going to be November 15 this year, which is really cool. They've now released a trailer, which I think Bob's going to be playing as well.
Yep. Although you're linked and links to Twitter, so I'm just going to quickly find this on YouTube. So you keep talking.
Oh, bad link. Sorry, I should have checked that.
Terrible.
Yeah, really interesting. So there's a making of, sort of, from the producers, directors, designers, on what they're trying to do, change the story, because if you want to think of Watch Dogs, I loved Watch Dogs. Unfortunately, I got distracted away from it by something else, which I can't recall what it was. So I didn't get to finish Watch Dogs, and I haven't got back to it. I think it might have been H1Z1 at the time. I think when that came out, I think a few of us went over to that, but I could be wrong.
See, this looks gorgeous. If this is the in-game stuff, this is just...
Yeah, well, it's by Ubisoft, and they've done a good job with Division, haven't they?
Yeah.
Now, if they take the learnings from Division and the way that they do things at Division, you can make you come to expect a visually stunning game now from Ubisoft, because you know that they can do it, and it looks like they're transposing that well into Watch Dogs 2. Now, you take the role of the main character, and he is part of a hacktivist group called DedSec, and
this is a new guy, isn't he? He's called Marcus, isn't he?
Yes, yeah. And they've not actually said what the storyline is or anything like that. Not that I've spotted anyway. But you know that he's part of DedSec, and they are hacktivists, and they try to take down a lot of corporations or a lot of bigger things, because the world is connected at that point. Everywhere is connected, and they've sort of taken.
They give this quite a very nice modern, connected feel, don't they?
Yeah. I loved it. I liked the idea of the first game, and I'm quite excited by the second. Yeah, he gets a couple of tools in this one. He gets a little lamb buggy that he can drive around, and like remote control drive around, and it's got this little fork thing that he can press things with and all kinds of things. And then he's got this little drone, and probably that you've seen already, that he throws up in the air, and he uses that for scouting out type things and stuff like that. So what's really interesting is that they did a lot of research in the current hacking environment.
Yep.
And tried to put themselves, like any actor would, I suppose, try to put themselves in that situation, and how to get that across to the game audience, essentially. And his main weapon, the main character's main weapon, is actually a billiard ball with a hole through it, with cord wrapped around it and braided, and that's his main weapon. So it's like a ball on the end of string, and he uses that and swipes it and everything like that. And it's a homemade melee device that they went through reams and reams of research on the internet on finding these different homemade melee devices, and they settled on this billiard ball on rope.
Wow.
And one of the videos that are out there, it's worth looking by the designers and stuff, is that they mentioned that they handed the actors, the motion cap actors, or the stuntmen, this billiard ball and said, look, what can you do with this? And the first thing they noticed was the speed that they were flinging this billiard weapon around, and the things that they were doing, throwing it like yo-yo and pulling it back and doing all kinds of different things, and the fluidity of it, and how in combat that looks and comes across looks amazing. I don't know if they show you anything on the
not on the trailer. You don't say
trailer.
no, but that would be interesting to watch that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's shaping up to be a good game.
Yeah, and almost it's quite nice to see. It's modern and quite contemporary. It's set in our period of time. You obviously saw the guy at the beginning with the Google cardboard device on his face. Obviously that TV series that just came out on Amazon, Mr. Robot. That's about the hacking environment and sort of things. That it's pretty much very relevant to our current age. Yeah. And I think a lot of people get on board with that. I do, and I've had a lot of good reviews in that about Watch Dogs, so it might be an interesting one to get. I've said, I'm not a fan of playing in modern day realities, but this one I potentially give a go.
Well, one of the things that I liked about Watch Dogs was the intrusion aspect, to be intruded whilst you were playing.
Starting to worry about you.
Where you could just be playing along, like doing whatever you want, and then the next thing you know is like, warning, you are being hacked, and it's somebody else that's intruded into your game, and you have to then evade them or do whatever, find out who it is within the crowd by scanning everybody or whichever, and things like that. That was a really good element to it. And
was
if
that
you allowed
in-game
yourself,
AI, or was that actually
no, they were people. Yeah, you could go and intrude other people's things while you were playing, as long as you had it turned on, so you could be playing the campaign mode. And if you were in specific areas or traveling or not in part of the main actual story mode, which was seamless, by the way, you could be intruded by anybody else, and they could come and hack you and steal your credits and all kinds of different things. And yeah, it's fantastic. I loved that. A lot of people slated it, but yeah, I really did enjoy it. So yeah, Watch Dogs 2. That's something to look forward to.
Yeah, very sexy. Very sexy.
How about yourself? Any other news?
Oh, you need to pause that trailer. Every time I come out of it, it then starts playing again, which is quite annoying. So yes, I think the final piece of news that I have is... So, as everyone knows, this is my trading card corner again. As everyone knows, I'm a massive fan of digital games. Obviously, whilst we're here, I'm going to start that bit again, cut this bit. As everyone knows, I'm a massive fan of trading card games, especially digital trading card games. And one thing I got very, very excited about was yesterday, in fact, was CD Projekt, who make Witcher 3, have announced that they are transferring Gwent, which is the in-card game inside Witcher 3, to the tabletop. Not tabletop, to the desktop, and potentially, I'm hoping, obviously mobile device as well. It just looks
right. Okay.
Well, so the only thing that's been released so far is basically the guys over at Nerd Leaks have basically found that CD Projekt have basically registered a new trademark and logo for Gwent, the Witcher card game. Various 3 logos there, but obviously, it's a given. It does exactly what it says on the tin. It's the trading card game in Witcher 3, so we're going to get a digital version of that as well. So another one to play, because this week it's just been trading card game galore for me, which has been absolutely fantastic. But to see another one come up, I'm sure Steve at work is going to be like, oh, not another one. Or he was actually when he saw, but he got quite excited about it today as well. So yeah, I think,
he's played Witcher, isn't he?
Yes,
so
and
he's
the
got
in-game
into the
card game.
whole
He'll
Witcher
show me
3.
the rules today, and I have watched a couple of, since I saw this yesterday. I've watched a couple of gameplay trailers, and it's completely different. This is nowhere near anything Magic the Gathering related, Hearthstone, Eternal, any of them sort of games, any ones you're currently playing with Mana and them sort of things. It's got a completely different mindset and rule set to any trading card game I've ever seen before, which is nice to see. It's got I'll have to go through the rules again on what I was watching the other day, but it just, in terms of its lane mechanics, the different types of artillery and warriors and different support groups you can put in each of your lanes that create additional points, but then lines can be wiped out, them sort of things. It's just, anyone who's played it within Witcher 3 is just, it's a very well put together game. So, and it's almost, and it's a polished game inside the game as well. So to have this, either on a digital device or playing on the desktop is going to be, it's going to be sweet. So much looking forward to that. So.
Nice. I personally have not played Gwent. I've not played Witcher 3. Like I said, I think I mentioned before, it's still in a sealed box next to my Xbox at the minute.
Shame on you. You should get going with that, dude. It's a nice game.
I just don't have the time.
In terms of open world games, I'm still deciding whether or not it's Skyrim or Witcher 3. I think visually, Witcher 3 looks a lot sexier.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to the digitally remastered version of Skyrim that they've announced for the Xbox and whatnot, and PlayStation 4, Xbox One. Yeah, but I still think visually, The Witcher 3 kind of might just pip it a little bit. I don't know.
Well, I have to be very choosy when I play open sandbox style stuff. Like Skyrim, I didn't get on with. I found myself, I think I got to the first village and I was going in every single house, opening up every single box to see if there was anything in there for fear of actually missing something in all the boxes.
Right, okay.
Yeah, and I didn't get on with that. So
You're
I just got to
wrong
be careful.
then.
Yeah. I can't. It's the thought of missing something. What if there's something really special in this little box that I haven't
Go
opened?
back and look for it later on.
Yeah, but I'm still looking for it.
You go to the next village, you're going to find something better. Or you'll be given something better. It's usually the dungeons you find the good stuff in.
Yeah.
Don't worry about the boxes.
I never played much of Skyrim, so that's probably one of the reasons why I haven't picked up Witcher 3. But I got I also had the new I forgot what it is. What's the thing by Kojima? It's not Splinter Cell. Metal Gear. I've also got the Metal Gear and I've not touched that either.
Oh.
The new Metal Gear Solid.
No, Metal Gear Solid, the first one on PlayStation 2, and then is it 3 and 4, and then online. That's as far as I went with them. I think they got a little bit too. They were very involved storylines. They were heavy on the. When you play a video game, for me, sometimes it's just to sit and relax. But when you've got to really think about the storyline and invest heavily in like obviously like a big movie type thing, that's where I kind of that's it now. I'm done.
Yeah, certainly. But yeah, Gwent seems interesting to look into.
Yeah, definitely. I shall let you know how that pans out. Keeping a close eye on that one.
Yeah, fantastic. Right, so I think that's a wrap up on our news for the week, really. So we'll go on to what we've been up to for the week.
So the first thing for me this week, there are two things. I've been sticking quite heavily to the card game stuff this week. So as people, I don't know if I mentioned this last episode, it might have been the Elder Scrolls Legends. So I'm in the beta for that, and I've been playing a bucket load of that this week. But I had the opportunity to start playing the beta for Eternal, the card games, which is again by the same guys who are doing Elder Scrolls Legends, Direwolf. But I'll say, unfortunately, there's not too much I can say about the game because it's
NDA'd.
It's NDA'd. But in terms of its look and feel, they've got the website. So it's the Eternal strategy card game, and it's almost. There are a couple of videos up online that you can see of it, and they've already done some videos on Twitter about it as well. So you can see the look and feel of it over there. But in essence, it's almost it's Magic the Gathering with the look and feel of Hearthstone. That's how I can kind of compare the two of them. Now there are quite some massive disparities between obviously them three games because they want to obviously create a carbon copy of them and go down the whole lawsuit thing, because it could be quite. I think a lot of them have learnt from what happened with Hex games and Cryptozoic Hex and the Shards of Fate game, and how Wizard jumped on board with the whole lawsuit. The lawsuit on that was quite a hefty one. That one. But the Direwolf, who are developing this game, Louis Scott Vargas, who is a one of the big pro players in Magic the Gathering scene. Does a lot of commentary for the Pro Tour stuff, and he runs and also does a website and podcast, Limited Resource. It's basically he's the developer behind this game. He's the writer and the mechanics designer, lead designer behind the actual game mechanics itself. So instead of obviously Hearthstone with the I think the health is still 30, but you've got 75 cards as your minimum instead of the 30. You can go above that if you want to, and there's different sort of mechanics around the skill classes as well. So it's visually it's very well polished right now off the bat. It's a very well laid out game. So it's in closed beta at the moment, but you can still register for that. I believe there's quite a number of players at the minute because the wait times between games is pretty quick. I think it's maximum 8-10 seconds you put between games. But one of the things I do love about this game, and I do hope it does go to multiple platforms, mobile particularly, is because it is that quick. You're not waiting between to find players. It pretty much bang, you're there. You're playing a game against somebody, and you can just have a good bit of fun with it. But now that I've played Eternal for the whole week and then gone back to Elder Scrolls Legends, I'm definitely leaning more towards the Elder Scrolls Legends stuff now. I think that the two-lane mechanics in that game work better, and I think it's not so much a carbon copy of either of them games. It's more of a fresher game. It's got a fresher approach. There are 50 card sets in there, but you can create. So there are. I think there are 5 or 6 different class. They're not classes. So there are different strategy abilities, but then you can have 2 abilities per character. So that then creates your class. So in theory, there are 10 classes that you can have. I think there are 5, obviously 5. Yeah. So there are 10 classes you can actually build within the game, and that's very strongly around the whole Skyrim Elder Scrolls Legends as well. So you don't. It creates that. You can be the Nords, you can be the Red Guard, you can be the elves and so forth. So you can really get a good feel of what characters you're playing, and it's very, very well balanced at the moment. So I'm having an absolute blast playing it. The patches that are coming out quite frequently at the moment for this game are just for me. It's knocking it out of the park. So out of the 2, they're the ones I've been playing so far this week.
Fantastic.
For that one, how about you, dude? What you been doing this week?
I've had quite a busy week. My eldest's birthday was a couple of days ago, so I've been doing parties. And then also, I mentioned in episode 2 what I was really excited about. And I don't know if I haven't tried this yet. Can you see that one? Okay, let's go that way.
Oh yeah, your vans that you were talking about last week.
Over. So yeah, I've got the Nintendo one, so that's pretty good. I need to sort myself out now.
See it, adjust.
Yeah, adjust. So I picked up them new glasses as well. You can see the blue tint as well. They've been working out perfectly. You nearly got an F-bomb then, but I saved myself. And I've been caning Rust.
Dust anyone? Dust.
I know you're not impressed by this, but I'm loving Rust at the moment. Just chilling out with a couple of people on Rust. It's really giving me a fix of it's satisfying my building risk, my creative.
You are a builder. I'm surprised you don't play Minecraft, to be honest with you.
It's too kiddish for me. It's just way too down that kid level for me, to be fair. It's not.
But it's build. You can build some amazing structures in this.
Yeah, but it's block building and all kinds of things. Rust, you can build some beautiful villages and stuff like that if you actually get a chance to build it before it gets turned down by other people. Yeah. But yeah, we managed to make a enemies against a gang, and we got gang raided. Boom, boom. By
He did say gang raided there.
Gang raided. Yeah. Gangs in games. And they raid you frequently, and got pillaged, and we didn't get raped, which is lucky. So yeah, it's fulfilling what I need at the minute. And then with the odd bit of Overwatch thrown in there when when we can't play. So yeah, that's pretty much been not a boring, but very boring in the terms of different games to play. I hope to play a little bit more over the next coming days. I've got, which I'll probably touch on in the plans for next week for me.
No, see, again, this is that you say you can build some really good stuff. I'm watching the video now, and you can build some really good stuff in this, but, you know, don't you find it dissatisfying when you come back, you log back in again? Because this gang you're playing against, they seem to be on when you're not on, and vice versa. So, you know, by the time you get back, everything's been destroyed and stripped down, and it just seems a very, again, like I said last time, very counterintuitive game. You're building all this, you get back to it to find that these douchebags have gone and, you know, destroyed, you know, all your work and whatnot.
So I've played quite a few survival games. H1Z1 was probably my biggest survival game, and yeah, the saltiness that you get, you rage at these douches that come and that come and play that aspect of the game, and that's all they live for, is to troll, is to raid, is to do stuff like that. But what that actually does, when you get bombarded with that continuously over time, you get less and less affected by it. So the way that I see it now is, if somebody raids my base, I build a new base and I figure out how to make it unraidable, or how to make it less appealing for people to come and raid. And then until I get that perfect design, and I haven't got that perfect design yet, and you know, when I hit that might be when my lust for rusting subsides.
Lust for rust disappears.
Yeah. Or when Conan Rust comes out, you know, I'll probably just...
It's not Conan Rust, okay? Let's get this straight right now, okay?
It's Rust with a Conan skin.
Yeah, it's going to be far superior to that. It's because it's got the whole up in your grill, hack and slash.
Yeah, with the creatures and everything like that. But when you strip it all back, it's Rust.
No, I'm sorry. It's one of my other good things. I do love the whole Conan universe and games, and I just can't wait for that game. There is a trailer out for that, but I think I'll cover that next episode.
Yeah.
We get more detail.
We'll have an answer about that. And well, there's no beta sign up properly yet, but I've put my name down on there. Are you getting the newsletter?
Yes, the newsletter.
Yeah. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we'll see if we get into that. That'll be a good one. Yeah, so that's me for this. This is what I've been doing this week. Anything else for you?
So one other thing. So last week, obviously, we were talking about mobile game devices.
Mobile
device games, obviously, in the market, and you know your battle. Is it? I can't remember. Royale Battle, Clash Royale.
Clash Royale.
Clash
and
Royale.
I've still been caning.
And you've still been caning it.
Yes.
I did thingy. Rat on you, didn't you, to your wife earlier? Told you.
Yeah. I was at lunch and I was playing a game, so she decided to call me mid-battle, so I quickly ignored her.
Yeah. So just before we recorded this, I told her.
Yeah. This person here nicely dobbed me in, which is fine.
Yeah.
So I'll get, if I have a black eye next week, we know who to blame, or if I'm like missing a tooth or something like that.
Let us know how you get on with that. Yes, but anyway, there's another card game, tabletop card game that I'm looking forward to purchasing, which is the Pathfinder Adventures card game. Now, Pathfinder's the RPG. It's quite massive. For those who do play any RPG games, Dungeons and Dragons, I think it's either level pegging with it now, or it's creeping up behind Wizards' backside in terms of its popularity. I think Pathfinder for me has got a very it's very visually appealing as an IP, and it's been cleverly done in terms of there's always consistent content every week in terms of their Pathfinder adventures that come out or every month, and all the various sort of add-ons that they do for these games in terms of your dungeon tiles and the NPC characters you can get. There's so much out there. Their website is just absolutely rife with products you can get, and it's quite I do like that sort of thing. But one of the ones that they have produced quite recently is Pathfinder Rise of the Rune Lords, the adventure card game. Now, it's one of these great card games where it's a good collaboration game with mates. But it also has a one-player campaign where you can, if you just fancy sitting down and have a bit of a chill by yourself, you can sit down and actually have a run around with that on the tabletop as well. But they've also now is produced Pathfinder Adventures, which is the digital format of this game, which is currently available on iOS and Android. But there's unfortunately no PC version of it, but apparently it's coming to Steam. But it's pretty much they've just lifted and shifted that game and put it into a digital format. So this week I've been playing with that. So it's free to play. The first campaign, they give you 2 characters for free. You can buy the full game for £20 on the store, or you
20.
Can, yes, that's all right. You get everything.
Bloody hell.
That's everything. But you get all the
That's
adventures,
big for
all
a
the
mobile game, though.
But this thing, it's obviously a mobile game, but it's the tabletop game. You are just buying a digital format of this tabletop game instead, and
Right.
they.
Who do you play with?
Well, this thing, you either play against the AI,
right.
or you can, or you play in this solo version. You basically play against the AI. There is a multiplayer online version of it as well. But the reason I'm liking this game at the moment is because of the various sort of different adventure packs you can buy and the different character classes you can buy. So on the actual store itself, so it's available to download, say through them stores there. I'm just trying to find the actual store itself. There we are. So the part of the store itself, all these various adventure card games at the minute. So there's been 3 expansions to the actual game itself. So you've had Rise of the Rune Lords, Skull and Shackles, and Wrath of the Righteous. And I believe Mummy's Mask is the new one that's just come out. And there are also class decks, so it gives you additional. The game starts off with your usual classes, your rogues and your mages and your warriors and all them sort of things. But then additionally, there's been every month they basically release a new class. You've got the bards, the clerics, the fighters, the sorcerers, the paladins, the monks, druids, barbarians, oracles, alchemists. One of the new ones that come out, the Inquisitor, and the most recent one they've released is the Witch. So anytime that you see a physical version that's coming out, you also get a digital version too. And it's just a very, very clever game. It's completely moved away from. It's nothing like your Magic the Gathering. It's almost an RPG for a game played through the power of cards. So you've got different locations that you've got to basically look. You've got to physically look for the villain first, and while you're looking for that villain, you play certain elements of your deck. Basically, is your life. So you're basically putting cards to the bottom of your pile and then bring it to the top again, and using them cards. And you try not to obviously lose all your cards or you'll die. And it's just got some very, very clever mechanics. You can't fight the villain until you've actually found him at one of these locations. So you can either have 2 of your characters together at one location and sort of help, trawl through that if you want to. It takes a bit longer, or you can have them at separate locations, but they hype each other out and so forth. So it's a very, very clever game. I'm very, very tempted to obviously I'm going to get the game digitally, but also buy the physical version. And it's just nice to be able to just put down a tape on my desktop and just thing out. And so it's definitely one, I think, if you're a fan of that RPG element, but haven't you can't get your mates together around and you just want to have a quick bimble by yourself, either you can whip out your device or you can play it on the tabletop depending on what version you're going to buy. And there's no disparity between the two. It's not been dumbed down or changed in any way for the digital form. So
don't matter where you are, you can whip it out and have a play.
Exactly. So that's what I've been up to this week. Them two, I've been very, 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 very card gamey.
Yeah, it's will be one to look into. Definitely, you'll have to give me a demo out.
Yeah. No, I think you like the look of that one.
Right, okay, so we'll go into our next segment, or our final segment then. Plans for next week. So yeah, E3 is going to be a big focus this weekend, isn't it?
It certainly is. I think there's going to be a lot coming out this week. I know they've mentioned the Skyrim digital master, but I'm really hoping we get something from them to say that they're going to get the next version of Elder Scrolls or down that similar vein. I think they knew they haven't made a mistake with Elder Scrolls Online. But I think people were expecting a Skyrim MMO version.
Yeah.
And they didn't get that, so I think they've got a bit of work to kind of bring them fans back to say, okay, no, it's an okay game, but here's the Skyrim 6 or whatever it is you want to play. Here's the next version.
Yeah,
I hope I'm going to see something for that.
Yeah, I played a bit of the ESO beta, and I don't think I got out the first couple of doors. I really disliked the feel of it, and I never went back to it, which was a shame, to be fair, because it was a point where I was quite big into my MMO play at that stage. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what's going to come out. I'm I'm quite pretty newsed out, to be fair. It's gone very quiet over the last week.
Yeah, but that's because of E3, isn't it? It's
yeah,
the same thing with what happens, even with like things like Comic Con. Them weeks leading up to that, all the comic book news always goes quiet as well. It's just what they seem to do these days.
Yeah, it's just been very difficult to do any news on the video games group that we update and stuff like that. So yeah, it'll be good to see what's coming, to see what people's plans are. My fear is that a lot of it's already been leaked. Like the second Xbox console, the second PlayStation console, and stuff like that. I wonder if it's going to be very VR driven, but are we sick to death of VR at the moment is the big question, because it's been very much VR related, isn't it? So
yeah, but obviously that's where the industry's heading though, mate. I think we're going to obviously see more and more of that, but I still think it's still too early for that. I don't think enough VR is in consumers' hands yet. No. There needs to be that. I know PlayStation 4 obviously releasing theirs. Is it out now, or is it PlayStation 4?
Closer to the end of the year.
Yeah, so obviously that one's on the horizon. The HTC one seems to be the more accessible one at the moment. Oculus Rift is just out of the reach from the normal gamer for me personally. I think like the mobile device, I think mobile device gaming is where that's going to take off a bit better. And do you know what? This probably won't, I'm going to call this now, and if it doesn't happen, who cares? But I think, this year, Apple announcement, I think we're going to see something come from them this year. They can't wait any longer, because Samsung have already jumped on the VR bandwagon now, with that device already out. I think it's already people are really moving toward. I am, the end of the year, I'm going to be getting my S7 and the VR headset straight away, and I can't wait to get my hands on that. I think Apple are going to have one. You know what they do? They wait for something to release it and they just skin it over there. Again, I'm not an Apple lover, but I think they'll have something this year.
They're not used to being second though, or even third, or
exactly.
Even
That's why I think they're going to do it now. They're not going to wait any longer. They can't wait any longer because they'll just be too far behind in the market else.
I don't know. I wouldn't buy into it. Well, neither of us are Apple fans.
No,
but we'll see. I don't think they will. I think it'll be a risky move for them to branch into it, to be fair, with so much that's out there at the minute. And so, like the HTV, the HT, gosh, Jesus, the HT. How much
have you knocked back? You much knocked back before that you started today.
I'm back on the juice now. The HTC Vive, is blowing a lot of people's minds over Oculus, over Samsung's version, over everything.
And it's kind of within that reach of a lot of people's gaming budget as well, isn't it? So
the full package, if you get the room value, the one where you get the stuff on the walls and stuff like that, it is not so expensive. But they were sort of like kept things quite close to their heart when they were developing it, unlike Oculus, that were very, very visible, being a Kickstarter process anyway. And they seem to be quite in the lead. I think that one, I could talk for hours on VR and AR. AR's just as exciting for me. Augmented reality with Microsoft HoloLens. God, my brain's not working this evening.
It's been a long week, I'll give you that.
Yeah, it has been a very long week. So yeah, we'll see what they do. I think it will be VR heavy E3, but hopefully we'll get something that we're not expecting.
No, hopefully we'll have something nice and juicy to talk about next week.
Yeah, definitely. See if Blizzard can surprise us.
Well, I don't think Blizzard seem to aim at that, do they? Theirs is more their BlizzCon at the end of the year, isn't it?
Yeah, very much. But yeah, we'll see. What have you got? Other things planned this week?
So I have two things planned for next week. The first one being another card game / board game, which is currently in early access on Steam, and it's called Faria.
Fairies.
Faria. No, it's got nothing to do with
You get
fairies.
to dress up with wings and.
No, it's got nothing to do with that.
I'm a fairy.
This is another strategy card game where you've got your mana and you have to fight against someone on the opposite side. But the one thing about this game that's got me very, very excited, it has the board game element and feel to it. And what I mean by that is basically I'm going to pause the video just here because this is exactly what I wanted to show you. Is that the game, so Magic the Gathering is very land specific in terms of its mana and the different types of mana that you pull to be able to obviously draw them types of creatures and so forth. With this one, similar sort of concept, but the mana you draw, the land that you draw, enables you to create these tiles on the battlefield between you and the player, and the idea is for you to drop your land in, which then gives you your mana to spend, and then obviously play your cards that come out anyway. And when you draw these cards, you can fight other minions on the board, but I don't think you can do much attack to the opposite player until you've built the board up, which then goes across the table to that other player. And it just looks just looks well thought out. It's something completely different again. It's got this new element in the middle of the gameplay. And when I saw this online the other day through an MMO station, it was just like, oh, I need to have a look at this one. So it's not expensive.
So this is digital, yeah?
So again, it's on the digital. So it was originally on Kickstarter. It got greenlit through Steam as well. And the hope is, I think if they hit their stretch goal, I think the Kickstarter's finished now, but they are actually planning on creating a physical board game version of this as well. And that's just going to be brilliant if they do that as well. It's just got this very clever board game type feel to it. Instead of just sat up a bit opposite each other, throwing your cards out, they do a bit of damage and then off you go. You've got to think about and each land has something specific. So if you've got any sort of water elemental type characters, if you drop a water land, it can disappear in one tile and appear out another side, so you can get across the board quite quickly. Or if you've got a special character that you pull on that type of land, it's got a different buff or a stacked buff that would help it enable you to destroy the opposite characters and so forth. So that's what I'm going to be playing next week, and I'm very much looking forward to.
Doesn't seem very different for me, really. It looks like a cross between Yu-Gi-Oh and Hearthstone.
It's been kind of compared to Duelists at the moment, which is another popular.
Yeah.
It's got that kind of look and feel to it as well.
I know the anime.
Yeah, I've looked at that one, and I think the mechanics behind that, but I just don't like the look and feel of that game. Again, it's got that anime Western style to it, and I'm not a big fan of that sort of thing, and unfortunately, it just doesn't sort of ring my bell. So, but this one, it's got this weird. It's just got a new something different in between. So I'm going to give this it's only an early access. I'm going to give it a go. It's been a lot of people have ranted and raving about that one, so that'll be a good one to do. And then I might
sign up for that then and join you.
Yes, that'd be brilliant, and at least we can compare it across the thing. So and the last little thing, again, back to the whole Cthulhu thing, is another game that I found online. Again, there's a physical board game version of this, but they've also created a digital version of it too. Basically, again, like Pathfinder Adventures, they lifted and shifted it and put it into a digital format. And this is Cthulhu Realms. It's a really, really clever game anyway, in terms of you've got a middle lane where you can only pull your cards from. On the video there. So you've got a middle lane where you pull your cards from, and then you've got to kind of put cards underneath your deck, above your deck, to kind of thingy abilities. The mechanics behind this are completely different to anything you would have ever played in terms of all the different effects that each card has and what you can draw based on them. So it's when I spotted this originally, I saw this on Amazon, and then realised when I did a search through Cthulhu games on my Android, that there was obviously the digital version as well. So that's going to be another one I'm going to be playing next week. Again, free to play. No, I lie like a cheap rug. It's not free to play, but it was only a couple of quid, so I was happy to part with that one and give that one a go. So if I do like this one, digital format, I'll probably buy the physical version as well. This one.
I mean, physical looks interesting.
Yeah.
And why does cheap rug lie?
You lie like a cheap rug. You know, heard that phrase before? Because rugs lay on the floor. You lie.
Lay on the floor, not lie.
Yeah, lie. They lie on the floor, don't they?
I lie on the floor, not lay on the floor.
Yeah, but that's the phrase. You lie like a cheap rug.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I'm up to next week. So I've got, again, some more card game things.
That looks interesting. Probably me. I think we're being very diluted with the whole digital card games at the minute. I think everybody's now a couple of them have broken the back of Wizard. are Magic. I think they're all trying to do their own thing because they know it's possible. I think I might mention it before. It's as if everybody thinks that it's now possible to get that card game audience because Blizzard have done it. So I just feel a bit washed out with card game.
Yeah, I think it depends on. I say it depends on your play style, but I think that the nature of card games, the whole collectible thing, and this Feria that I'm looking to get is they've already opened up their esports channel through it as well. So that's going to be playing quite heavily over the next couple of months with that sort of thing. And personally, I think, speaking to the guys at work, it's just addictive. Being able to get good at these games, to understand and learn its mechanics. It's all about knowledge absorption for me with these sort of things. It's understanding how the different types, and if you can build a really good deck, it creates that sense of achievement when you do build them really, really good decks. I'm not a massive fan of these, build websites where you just go off to the Hearthpawns. It's a great website, but for people just to go in, and why would you go to a website, build a deck that someone else has got, because you can get them cards to win. There's no sense of achievement. You haven't built that deck, you're just copying somebody else's deck that they've built, and then you're trolling through the game to get higher ranked up. Okay, I'm all up for people wanting to rank in these games, but if you don't get there on your own steam, for me, you're not playing the game properly. It's
less of an achievement, isn't it, when you don't do it yourself?
Yeah. And that's why I love all of these card games. It's got to look good. It's got the artwork's got to be good anyway. But and it's also got sometimes the story-driven element behind it. So that's why I'm enjoying the Elder Scrolls Legends. It's got a great story behind it. And if there's a different type of mechanic that kind of gets you thinking. So again, Elder Scrolls Legends, the 2-lane mechanics, that works brilliantly on there. And then with Fairy, with the board game bit in the middle, the adventure card game for Pathfinder, completely different type of scenario game, and Cthulhu Realms, again, completely different mindset of thinking. So that's why I'm kind of going down the road at the moment, instead of just the make and bake games that we're seeing at the minute, because Hearthstone's been successful. They think they can all do it, and that's not necessarily the case. So
I like to be in a game like that. I like to sit there and I like to be playing somebody and then have that situation where, how the hell have you just done that? And you have to then figure out or go through like the graveyard or whatever and go, so that mechanic makes that
exactly.
Right, that's how you've done it. Wow, that's amazing, and you learn in that way. I always wish there was
similar sort of thing they have in Heroes of the Storm, where you can go back and replay your matches in Hearthstone, because again, I do the same thing. As soon as I lose a match, and this is the best possible advice I could give to anyone playing any TCG games, is in fact, losing is one of the best things you could potentially do in any trading card game from scratch. But once you've lost, you just need to sit back and you need to go through and figure out the reasons why you lost. It's a lot of people say it's the luck of the draw. It's not. If you've built a clever synergized deck for whatever game you're playing, you should have at least 2, maximum 3 types of synergies that will either start you off at the beginning of the game. You have a mid-game strategy synergies and an end-game synergy. So build it around your end game, but also ensure that you've got a beginning game to get you to mid-game to end game, or less you're going face and you just want to completely destroy them off the bat. But you've got to then make sure that you've then got to understand what other decks are out there that are going to prevent the control decks that are going to prevent you from going face, because once you've got past the front part of your game and you can't do any of your to face attacks, that's it. You pretty much you're on the wind. You're just gonna whatever card comes out and hope for the best. And that's that's what I love about these games. That's the putting that thought into them, and it stretches the mind. It's what it's what chess is all about. Obviously, but busy saying with chess, there's a finite number of moves that you can learn and understand, and that's pretty much the game handed to you on a plate. With these games, because they're upgraded, you've got different mechanics, new strategies, new
synergies between decks,
everything,
boosts.
And again, that's why I love Magic the Gathering. There's always they strip out one set of mechanics to introduce a new set, or they'll recycle it from a previous block, and it just it gives you that you're constantly trying to think about the next set of cards that you've got when you're building standard decks or playing modern things like that. That's why I love it all. It's brilliant.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so that's probably us for the next week then. Is there anything else you want to talk about, Bob?
No, that's it. I'm all done, dude. Yep, that's it. I think that's going to give me plenty to mull over for the next couple of weeks. I've got no new games coming, unfortunately. I don't think I've ordered any new games, so it's all going to be digital.
I think I'm going to try and play a new game a week. I think. It'd be good to play that card game with you.
Faria.
Yeah. There's a friend bundle on there, so if you want to skidge that, then
let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah. And if you've not noticed that we're on a new theme again this week, I think we sort of semi-agreed that I think we're going to try and do new slides every week, just to keep it a little bit different.
Yep.
New frames.
Obviously, comments below. Let us know if there's anything you want us to do, or one you particularly liked, and we'll stick with. I don't know. It's I know you had a blast creating these new themes. Once you get you doing going with it, it's quite addictive. So.
Yeah. And this theme is a bit of an homage to Bob because of his comic-y background. Not comic-y background, but comic background. Not that you're not funny, dude. You're funny, haha, not me, hee hee. But yeah, it's just an homage to Bob, this one.
Thanks, I think. Yeah, I'm a bit of a comic book nerd as well. But there's not very many comic book card games out there. I have spotted one. I might buy Batman versus Joker.
They're not really going the games way, though, are they? They're more touching into the film and TV and doing well.
They are. There is so I've got Dice Masters, but that's a D&D version. But there is a Marvel X-Men. Oh, it's about Marvel X-Men version. That I've been. That's a pretty good game as well. I'm hoping they don't turn that digital, because that's just a really good game just to to bust out with the kids and whatnot. And I love dice. You never get enough dice action in your life.
No, definitely not. So anyway, this has been episode number 3. Please comment, like, subscribe. We're getting some good views for the first couple of episodes, which is really healthy to see, and makes us want to do more of these episodes. So please continue to watch us. I hope this episode has been a lot shorter than previous episodes. It's something that we are working on to make them a little bit quicker and less drivel. However, I think that's going to be quite hard to achieve. But please like them, thumbs up them, and sub as well, because that's always good.
Yep,
and leave some comments. Yeah, definitely. So thank you very much from me.
And thanks very much from me. We shall see you same time.
Next week.
I can't remember the phrases now.
It'll be
same bat time, same bat channel, same bat channel, same bat. I can't remember what it was now. Shame on me. I should know that. Shame on me.
Well, to the Batcave, Robbie.